Has any one of you had to take a test? Had to take a test, whether it was a driver's test, which I got to take coming up here pretty soon, whether it was in school when you were in grade school, high school, middle school, college, graduate, postgraduate, you had to take a test. You had to take a test. I don't know very many people who have not ever had to take a test. Well, that's what we're going to talk about on this morning. How is everybody on this morning? Man, it's a little bit chilly here in the St. Louis metropolitan area. I don't know how it is where you are, but nevertheless, it's a good day to be alive. How about that? Well, let's talk about a test on this morning, a testimony. But before we do that, let's greet some folk on this morning. Good morning, Liz. How are you on this morning? Good morning, Ramona. How are you on this morning? Elder Jan. How are you? Angela, how are you on this morning? Francine, how are you on this morning? Elder Mobley, how are you on this morning? Brenda, how are you on this morning? Yvonne, Vaughn, how are you on this morning? Vicky, how are you? Lisa, how are you doing on this morning? Joelle, how are you? Mississippi, how is that whole state doing now? Verena, how are you on this morning? Brother Pope, how you doing on this morning? Gloria, how are you? Fawn, how are you? Lena, my homegirl, how are you? Elder Mobley, again, how are you doing on this morning? Dawn, how are you? Cece, how are you? Jewel, how are you? Say it's cold in Greensboro. You don't know what cold is, Angela. Trust when I tell you. Trust when I tell you. If you ever lived in the Midwest, but even when I lived in upstate New York and when I was in the military, never been so cold in my life. Trust when I tell you. That lake effect snow, whoo, boy, the Hulk for real. For real. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The test. Brother Nesbitt, how you doing on this morning? Has anybody ever had to take a test? Anybody ever had to take a test? Everybody's hand should go up. Everybody's hand should go up because you've had to take a test. Well, that led to what we're going to talk about this morning. Testimony. Testimony. Good morning, Minister Sent. How are you? Denise, how are you on this morning? Eugene, how are you? Laura, how are you? Joyce, how are you? Lydia, how are you on this morning? That's right. Has anybody ever had to take a test? What does it, the results were? Did you pass? Did you pass? Well, here we go. The text to talk, the takeaway, 5 minutes or less. Let's get right into the word on this morning. Mark 145. Mark 145. But he went out and began to speak freely. But he went out and began to speak freely. Let me give you the context of the text by reading the previous verses. And a leper came to him, imploring him, and kneeling, said to him, if you will, you can make me clean. Moved with pity, he stretched out his hand, you know, we're talking about Jesus, and touched him and said to him, I will be clean. And immediately the leprosy left him and he was made clean. And Jesus sternly charged him and sent him away at once and said to him, see that you say nothing to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer for your cleansing what Moses commanded for a proof to them. What did the man do? But he went out and began to speak freely. But he went out and began to speak freely. Three things I want you to do as a result of hearing that text. Number one, do like the man. Tell what Jesus has done for you. You got to tell somebody what Jesus has done for you. Have you told anybody? Make it your business today to tell somebody. I've been through a test. It may not have been leprosy, but he brought me out. He brought me out. And here is, I don't know how you want to look at this theologically, biblically, but Jesus told him not to do it, and he disobeyed Jesus. He disobeyed Jesus. Now, if you want to categorize that as a sin, I don't know. But I do know this. He did not obey. He went out and told people what Jesus had done. Not only that, he told what Jesus said. He told what Jesus, when Jesus does something for you, don't you keep it to yourself. It's not just a healing, but what did he say to you? What did Jesus say to you? Now, the third thing is this. Here's what drives the whole text. Here's what causes the man to do something completely opposite of what Jesus told him to do. He told how Jesus made him feel. He told how Jesus made him feel. Somebody said that people won't remember what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. Yep. They will remember how you made them feel. Think about it. You can always rewind and go back to whether it was a good feeling, no feeling, or a bad feeling. When Jesus changed his life, he says, "You have made my life completely different, and I'm going to do this." Here's your takeaway this morning. I asked at the beginning, has anybody ever had to take a test? Well, if you had a test, then you got a testimony. If you've been through the test, then tell your testimony. Don't keep it to yourself. Make it your business today to tell somebody about how Jesus has made you feel. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. Share the manna. Bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. If it bless you, share it. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more morning manna. God bless you.